Want to hear a story about the wilderness within? I once believed the prairie could be tamed. That's what they'd promised us in independence. Anyway, land, freedom, a fresh canvas for God's grace. But by the time our wagon train reached the Platte River, the canvas had begun to rot. It started with the whispers, not the wind, though that howled like a choir of the damned, but the other sounds. Voices threading through the sagebrush at dusk. Words too liquid to be human. My wife, Clara, heard nothing. Just the oxen shifting, she'd say, stitching a torn bonnet by firelight. But I knew. The land was speaking, and it knew my name. The others dismissed the signs. When Jacob Werner's boy vanished during a river crossing, they blamed the current. When the Heinemann girl began coughing black sludge, they called it ague. But I saw the truth in the way the willows bent like skeletal fingers pointing west, in the shadows that dogged our steps, always just beyond the rifle's reach. "You're fraying," Samuel, Clara warned, her face gaunt as the moon. "It's the hunger, the fear, it's making you see things." But the fear wasn't in the hunger. It was in me. The night the whispers took shape, I was on watch. The fire had died to embers, and the plains were a sea of ink. That's when I saw her, a figure in a tattered dress, standing at the edge of camp. Her face was a blur, like smoke behind glass, but her hand clutched a locket I'd recognize in any hell. My mother's, buried with her in Virginia. "Samuel," the voice was mine, hers, theirs. I fired. The shot tore the silence, and when the others came running, there was nothing. No blood, no tracks. Only Clara's scream as she found the bullet lodged in our daughter's doll. They called it madness. Tied me to the supply wagon, raving about phantoms. But I wasn't mad. The land was indifferent, a mirror. It showed me what I carried inside. By the time we reached the mountains, the snows had come. The oxen dropped first, then the children. Clara's eyes grew hollow, her prayers now curses. Yet when the others butchered the dead to survive, I laughed. Laughed, because I finally understood. The cold didn't kill us. The desert didn't thirst for our blood. We did. The last night I broke free. Found Clara huddled in a cave, our daughter's bones in her arms. Her face twisted as I approached. "Samuel, please." But I wasn't Samuel anymore. I was the thing the prairie had forged, a creature of teeth and terror, feasting on the rot we'd all sown. When I tore in her throat, it tasted like absolution. They say the Donner Party ate the dead to live. But I ate them to remember, to see. Now, when the snows whisper, I answer, not as a man, but as the wilderness he carried within. For the true horror was never the land, nor the cold, nor the dark. It was the mind that mistook its own reflection for a monster. And oh, what a fertile wilderness that is.